All right, everybody. So what we have here is the 2020 Electric Motion Escape. Now this is the original Escape. You might be familiar by looking at some of our posts and stuff that's coming up. This is not the Escape R. I repeat, this is not the Escape R. This is the one we've had this whole time. This is the one we did our Enduro mods to. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be selling it to a buyer. So what we're going to do is go through it and give it a little cleanup. And while I'm breaking it down, I figure I'd just show you a little bit more of the way this bike is put together, the quality that it is, even though we've put it through its paces. So here we go. So first of all, we're going to start by removing this top plate here, which actually protects the battery for the Escape because the battery is larger and it extends this whole length here. We're going to take off the seat and we're going to take off this fender. So by doing that, I already took the screws out. We take out one screw here. It's a hex head. And then we also go down to here, to the frame, and here as well. We did modify the seat, so there is a 8mm hex bolt in here, which I am taking out, and of course there are 8mm hexes on either side as well. Of course, same bolts, or sorry, same hex heads, fasteners on the opposite side, and they're actually just held on by these little body clips right here, similar to a regular bike, yeah. So you're familiar with that already. So already taken that off. In the 2021 model, Electric Motion was great enough to listen to some of the buyers and the dealers, and what they did was they've modified this seat. So I'm not sure if you've seen the original video. If you haven't, check it out in the link above. But this seat was just a small piece of foam here. We added this padding, we added this cover just so the seat wouldn't rip. But we did do some modifications to this seat because it wasn't it was good, but it didn't hold up to a real big fall or some heavy duty riding. So we covered it up, and when the seat comes off, we have the battery cover, and then we'll go from there. We'll take this off here, and this is held in by this. We can just take this off, and there you have it, guys. That's the battery, and you can see where it cuts off. And you can see how much bigger it is. And that's one of the reasons why the Escape costs a little bit more. You get a third more of the range. Where the ePure battery pack is only this big, this is how much more battery you get. Okay? Next, we're gonna remove this, and under here, and you see how it's kind of dirty here. This is where the dirt tends to collect no matter where you wash it and stuff, just because it's one of those tight crevices. Yeah, we expected that. We'll clean this up. In here, under here, is where the controller lies. So take this off very gently. And there you go, guys. That is your controller. It's a very small controller, surprisingly. Yeah, you would think a bike with this much power would be a little bit bigger, but that's all it takes. The motor is ginormous, so that's all it takes. All right, so next we have this negative terminal here. The bike is off, by the way. Make sure that's off. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this negative terminal. There was a heat shrink over this, and we just cut that off very gently so that we don't damage the other wires. And as you can see, there's a bunch of accessory wires hooked up to this negative terminal, as well as this is the main wire here that feeds into the battery. So after that, we'll be fully disconnected. You can put this back together without that negative terminal. And what we want to do now is take some electrical tape and just wrap this up. That way, when we do disconnect the battery, when we're handling it or moving it around, there's no chance that this will touch the positive cause a big short. You know, we got 50 volts in here, so that can't be good. So we want to make sure that we separate them and protect them so that we can handle it delicately. Doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be covered. Alright guys, so next, after we've done our negative terminal, we will remove this cap. We go to this side. We can see Electric Motion has put a pretty large, very large fuse here. So this is like the master fuse. This goes to the controller, and the wires come out of that for the auxiliary stuff and the options as far as the throttle up front. And then this is the main power cable here. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we don't cross this, but we take off our plug and our cap for protection. And I believe it's a 13mm wrench. And we just loosen this up very nicely. Remember to not drop anything if you can. So once we disconnect this, the battery will be totally free and we can move on to removing it. Okay, we can leave all this. This is for a fuse here for the 12-volt supply. There are also a bunch of other accessories that pop onto that. Mainly the battery indicator, and I believe the light that indicates the map selector. So we can just put that back on, and we just hand tighten this so we don't lose the nut. And voila! Let's put some. Let's put a little bit of tape on this again, just to protect the terminal so that it doesn't have a chance to short itself. And there you go, guys. All right, now we're almost there. We have one last thing to do with 3 bolts. And I said 3 bolts, that's these 3 right here. So we did that. We did the battery, disconnected the battery. Now these 3 bolts stand in the way of us taking this battery and lifting it right out of the frame. And just like the ePure race, or actually all the ePure lines, the light, the sport, and the race, it has the same mounting bracket here, although the top here on the Escape, this one is a little bit different, as the ePure batteries allow you to slide it out the side because it's so small and it fits right in the frame. The Escape battery, because it's larger of course, will only fit out the top. So this battery comes straight up. Okay, and as you can see, it's a lot of battery, right? So that that is the one main thing that sets this apart. Now these are 8mm hex bolts. It's not very tight to begin with because it doesn't need to be. And we just loosen these as such. Real simple. All right, take these out. See, not very big. So therefore, yeah, we don't want to mess these up. So we'll just, even when we put these in, we'll hand tighten them in. And make sure you put a little lube on it, you know, like anything else. It's always good. Okay. Let's pan out a bit here. And we should be able to lift this thing directly out. Ta-da! There you go. Your battery is out. So this battery, let's look at this battery real quick while we have it out. It's very rare that this thing comes out because of the connection. The ePure Light, Sport, and Race have a plug that actually makes swapping the battery very easy. But because this bike was designed not to be removed on a normal basis, they pretty much, how you could say, hardwire it in. Yeah. And take a look at this. I have to clean it up just a little bit more, but this is a bead of silicone right along here. And if you can see all the corners and the edges where the solid aluminum, the sheet aluminum case is all screwed together. All the edges here are sealed up. I believe this is one of the reasons why when we did our little dunk in the river, I was able to come out unscathed, luckily. So yeah, this is the guy. It's very narrow. It's very, very narrow. It's only about the width of the battery itself, or the length of the battery, I guess you would say. They do use 18650 batteries in here, standard. And that is basically it. You notice this has a little screw mount here, and as you saw earlier, the seat is the one that bolts straight to the battery itself. So the battery is actually part of the foundation. That's how solid this pack is made. Yeah, it is actually part of the foundation, and it does hold the top end together. They did upgrade this, and everybody asked me, can you put that seat on the ePure Race, Sport, or Light? And the answer is yes, but you do need a bracket, which Electromotion is coming out with in the 2021 models, that mimic this portion of the battery that mounts to the frame here. Yeah, so it mimics that portion, mounts here, and that will allow you to mount the top cover, the seat, and the rear fender onto that. So look out for that. If you guys have any questions, I can give you the part number. Yes, you can put the seat adaptation to the ePure Race. So we got our battery here, and it is showing 36.6 pounds. You know, some would say that's heavy, and I couldn't disagree with you. However, if you look how this thing is made, it is solid. I mean, we're talking 1/8 inch aluminum frame. It's paneled in, it's sealed here. We'll take a better look at that later. But yeah, 36.6 pounds on the scale. It's a beefy guy. Very solid. Once again, guys, thanks for checking out our YouTube video. Always a pleasure for you guys to come check it out. I love making these videos. I love showing what this bike can do, what it's capable of, what the future is for these guys. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. Hit us up on Instagram at Kauwila Motors. Also, you can email me, kauwilamotors@gmail.com, if you guys have any questions. If you're in Hawaii, in any of the islands, and you want more information about these bikes, how to get them, we are partnering with Hawaii Rides. So that is our main dealership we're going to be working out of with them. And big mahalos to them for hooking us up with all of these cool accessories. Here you go. You can check that out right there, Hawaii Rides. And yeah, let's see what we can do with this guy to get this guy cleaned up and off to the next customer to enjoy.